It's mind-blowing.
Oh, it's so mind-blowing,
It's mind-blowing.
Okay.
How is it for you?
Okay.
She's already gone through this mind-blowing experience.
So every day.
She's like, yeah, I already went through that crisis.
Continually. Hey fam, Sarah here.
And Aaron.
Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. It has been brought to our attention that we need to do a little bit of a channel update because it's been a long time since we've kind of, touched base on who we are, given that we've grown quite a bit over the past few months alone, let alone the past few years. So we felt like it was a well-needed time to do a little bit of an update. So I don't know how we're gonna dive into it, but you go first. I'm joking.
All right, guys. I can sum this up real quick.
So we're just gonna be touching base, and we're gonna do this casually. So you may or may not hear our children in the background. If you are unaware, we have 5 kids, okay? And we have a busy little boy who doesn't care if I'm filming or not. Yeah,
preferably,
so,
he likes you filming.
Exactly. So we're a married couple. How long have we been married now?
You've been married to me for 19 years?
19 years.
More than 19 years.
And how long have we been together?
More than 20 years.
It's a long time.
It's like half our lives.
Basically.
Half our lives, yeah, really.
We're at the part where we've been together longer now than we haven't.
It's mind-blowing.
Oh, it's so mind-blowing,
It's mind-blowing.
Okay.
How is it for you?
Okay.
She's already gone through this mind-blowing experience.
So every day.
She's like, yeah, I already went through that crisis.
Continually. Long story short, we have been married for a very long time, and we have 5 children. How did we meet, Aaron? Tell the people how we met.
We met at a party, at a New Year's party.
The one that I wasn't allowed to go to.
Right? We met at a New Year's party, and we liked each other right away. No?
Even the dogs aren't supporting you.
We introduced ourselves, and you introduced yourself as another person.
So if you're not familiar with what he's saying, he's basically saying that I had an alias.
Yeah, you had an alias.
Okay, and that is just the thing I do when I'm not like interested, and it's not that I wasn't it's not even that I wasn't interested, because I didn't know him. Like I have more substance than that. It's not like I didn't know you to not be interested in you, but I wasn't interested because I just said I was kind of focusing on myself, and I wasn't focusing on like a dude, or I wasn't focusing on any type of relationship. So that's where I was coming from.
Understood.
After being with me for 20 years, you know my willpower, and know that I will follow through with what I say I'm gonna do.
Yes.
And so the follow through was there, like because I gave flirty vibes.
Yes.
But then I was like, you know what? Let me just stick to the script and take my taxi cab home, okay? And that's what I did.
I took a taxi cab with you. I paid for that taxi.
He hopped in. So on my way home, this guy like hops into my taxi, and I'm like, okay. Okay, taxi man, rework my. No,
it sounds really bad.
Like rework my.
It sounds terrible. It's not like I didn't talk.
No, but you know what? It sounds like one of those romance movies. It
does.
It sounds like one of those cheesy romance movies.
It does actually. When if someone chases after you.
Yeah, and
then you know it's real.
Then you know it's real.
But if they don't, then forget it.
So the taxi cab came, and I was driving in it, and this guy's in it, and I'm like I don't know you. So Mr. Taxi Man, can you drive me like 5 minutes away from my house so I can walk? Even though that sounds actually, in hindsight, like it sounds kind of dangerous. It sounds dangerous. Obviously, I wasn't threatened in that way. If I was threatened, I wouldn't. I probably wouldn't tell the taxi man to drop me so I could walk alone outside in the dark after a party.
You weren't dropped off far from your home.
It wasn't far, but it just wasn't.
It was just the closest intersection.
Yeah, it just wasn't in front of my home.
It wasn't in front of
Long story short, you asked for my number, and like I said, I was sticking to the script, so I was like, no, it's okay. Because, you know, not only that, an incident occurred at the party. His ex was there, and that just played a role in things. I don't want to be like a messy side piece, or like not even a side piece. I just don't want to be involved in anybody's nothing. So I was like, no, that's okay. I'm good. And what about my business? And then what happened, sir? What happened? I went about my way. I was living my life. I was working. I was going to school, and yeah, just watching the birds fly by. And then one day I got a call.
I called your dad.
One day I got a call.
Spoke to your dad.
Yeah, yeah. One day I got a call, and I was just kind of in shock because I didn't even know how he got my number. Shout out to my friend. You know who you are.
I got your number.
Who got my number? Yeah, you got my number somehow. Called my house, and you know, I gotta love my dad.
That's pretty bold of me, right?
Yeah, that was very bold. And you gotta love my dad because he put you through the ringer before he brought you to me.
Yeah, and you gotta admit, I called twice.
Oh, you did?
I called you. I spoke to your dad the first time, and then that was it. You never spoke. We didn't speak.
So how did I speak to you again?
I called you again.
Oh, so why didn't you just talk to me?
Your dad said it was too late.
Oh, that's right.
To call.
You should know better.
I called at like, I think it was like 10 o'clock.
Oh my gosh. If you're...
No, because I called at 10 o'clock because I thought, you know, maybe she will answer the phone. Would be better. And she would be home. I thought she would be home. But,
you know, that's a difference too. That's one of the differences in an interracial relationship. We definitely had different upbringings because even my Caucasian friends, they did all the things. They were able to like call each other at God knows what time,
12 o'clock at night.
And it didn't matter.
Didn't matter.
In a black household, you just don't do that. It's
people would call my house at 12 and I might not even be home.
Oh my gosh.
And my mom would answer the
phone. Never.
And my mom would be like, it's a little too late to call next time. My mom, I would hear my mom say that sometimes. Even when I'm home, she'd be like,
that's nice.
It's a little late to call.
That's really nice, especially if it's like the first time. But the second and the third time, you're gonna keep calling the house at that time. I'm like, please don't call my house at 12 o'clock. That's the difference. But you would hear the straightforwardness from me. Please don't call. It's too late.
It is really late, actually.
Call back tomorrow.
12 o'clock.
So yeah, that's basically how we met, and we were teenage parents because I ended up getting pregnant at 19, and I had my daughter basically the same year because 2 months later I was turning 20. After she was born, I turned 20.
That's right.
So
you were 19. You were 19.
Yeah, but it's still teenage. And I was busy like trying to raise our baby. We lived together at my parents for a little bit. We rented out their basement, and that was really nice. And then we moved out on our own.
Right before Michaela turned 1.
Yeah, we moved out, exactly. We moved out right before our eldest turned 1. And now, yeah, she's just turned 19.
We've been on our own ever since.
And we have been on our own ever since, which it just sounds crazy. It sounds crazy. And like in that time frame, we ended up having more children. He went to school.
Yeah.
Backstory, if you guys don't know, Aaron's a chemical engineer, so he went to school, and he was in school for what? You technically went for 6 years. I wouldn't say like you went for 5 for your engineering, but then you ended up going somewhere else and then transferring back locally. And then, you know how with transfers, it's never like straightforward. Like you lose some credits and you gain some credits. Either way, you came back, and then I
had the option
to do what?
To go into second year.
And you chose to go to first?
Chose to
go look first. At you, Mr. Moneybags.
It would be, yeah. Because I didn't want to miss some courses that I think
were fundamental. Yeah, I understand. But money, that's $10,000.
$10,000, yeah.
School's not cheap.
No, it's not cheap.
We've been with each other through like all the things. He went to school for 5 years, and then we had like the first, when it wasn't a pandemic, what did we have where you graduated and there weren't even jobs? Recession. We had a recession, and then you went back to school to do your master's, And in between, I was doing little things as well. I attempted to do my real estate course. I failed by 3%, felt discouraged. I mean, okay. I was trying to hustle and be a stay-at-home mom to a new baby, and trying to go back to school. That was my first attempt. I just think at that point I just felt discouraged. I felt discouraged because, you know, the stigma when it came to like young moms was that they were not even gonna. It's like
back then it was different too. 20 years ago, it was different.
Yeah, it was different.
It's not as society doesn't embrace them the same.
When I did that, it was definitely challenging, and I was gonna say discouraging, because like I just didn't feel like I was capable of doing it, just because I was trying to take care of a baby. And that's just, you always hear it with the negativity associated with that, right? When you're a teen mom, you're gonna drop out, you're not gonna become anything.
Yeah.
And despite us not even talking about that as a young age, that was something that plagued me. But thank God, like, for the drive that he's given me, because every time I looked at my child and I would spend time just thinking about just the kind of life that I wanted for her, it just reminded me of why I needed to still do something for myself, right?
Finish your high school?
Yeah, finish my schooling and going on to do something else, even though I was a stay-at-home mom, and I enjoy that, staying at home with my kids. But I just, no matter what, I wanted to make sure I did something with myself. So long story short, literally just like, what, 2 years ago? Was it 2 years ago or not even? Was it last year?
2021. 2 years
yeah.
ago.
So 2 years ago, I wrapped up my degree. I graduated with my psychology degree. That was 4 years. It's a 4-year degree, but because I'm a stay-at-home mom and I also homeschool, it took me many years, because I just kind of had to do it in parts as time went on. I couldn't just take on like a full course load like a normal student, because I was doing it at home, doing it on my own time, and and while homeschooling, involving in homeschool activities, homeschool groups, taking care of babies, having babies, pregnancies.
Yeah, that's right. 5 times.
And just living life with, like, as a married couple. That
living with me.
That alone.
You had to live with me as well.
That alone is a struggle.
So you got half.
Married life, we will have some more talks on this, because the reality is, like, let's be real. Married life is great, but it has so many challenges. There are definitely challenges.
A lot of challenges.
You're talking about 2 whole people. But we're not going to talk about that here, because this is really just an introduction, but we will talk about that more. And we, I've kind of, anyways, we'll talk about that more in another video. But yeah, that's kind of like a little bit of our backstory. I mean, we're kind of like rushing through it and rushing over it just to kind of introduce ourselves, but that is kind of where we are. And if you guys aren't familiar too, we've had, like I said, we have 5 children. So we had our first 3, and then I tied my tubes at a young age. I'd say like to 25-ish. 24, 25-ish. And then 8 years later, we decided to untie, well, was it I decided to untie my tubes, but it was our decision together, because we both were in agreement with wanting more children. So we are here with 2 more.
That's right.
And that's how we are a family of 7. And is that a good enough backstory, you think? Am I missing something?
That's a good summary up to the point.
Up to where we are?
Up to where we are.
Yeah.
Lots of things go into 20 years.
Lots of things go in.
You can't say in a single conversation.
Decode exactly. So the light is the natural light that we were using is basically telling us to wrap it up. So we're gonna wrap it up. But yeah, that's a little bit of an intro as to who we are on a whole. Just married with 5 kids, and have been married for almost 20 years.
1 son.
And we just had our first son. We're gonna be doing a few videos, just kind of breaking things down. See the chaos that just starts as soon as he comes in the picture. But we're gonna break things down a little bit for you guys over the next few videos, just so you guys can get to know us, and yeah, just kind of touch base. If you guys have any questions, let us know. What is wrong with you? What is wrong
Savvy.
with you? Anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Oh, and comment.
And comment, guys.
Comment.
We love your comments.
Yeah, if you have any questions, leave some questions, because we used to do a segment on here called The Jar where we'd pull a question out and would sit down and answer together. We definitely would like to do that again, or do it in like podcast form. So if you guys want to see that, leave your questions below. That would be really, really helpful. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one.
All right, love you
Say
guys.
bye.
Oh.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.